Hi there, I'm Doggy Dan, professional dog trainer and behavioural specialist, and I'm here to give you a look at my new 5-part video series that I've just released for free. In part 1 of this video, you can watch as I transform a dog that pulls on the leash and just won't stop. We take a look at one of the most common mistakes that people make with regards to leash walking, and I share with you one of the simplest ways to stop dogs from pulling. And the great news is that it won't cost you a cent, because it's an exercise that you can get started on today. In part 2, I'll take you into one of my puppy consultations where I work with a 9-week-old puppy, and you can watch as I share with you how to train a puppy on the leash in just a matter of minutes. As with so many things, it's easy when you know how. You'll also get to witness what good puppy socialization actually looks like when my pack of dogs come in and do their thing. Part 3 tackles the tough subject of dog aggression. Here you can watch as I work with a very powerful dog whose owner is so concerned about his behavior that he has to keep him completely away from other dogs. I'll talk you through the decisions I make and share with you some powerful techniques for avoiding confrontation and ultimately achieving harmony and balance. Then in part 4, we look at dog aggression towards humans. Here I've come to work with a dog who won't stop barking aggressively at people who enter the property, and I'll show you how we calm this boy down using a combination of simple techniques that anyone can do, and by lowering our energy. Simple stuff that works. Then lastly, in the final video, I invite you to join me and my dogs in one of the most beautiful spots in the world, where I'll explain the real secret to having an amazing relationship with your dog, and it's not about hours and hours of training. Sounds like fun? Good. Well, like I say, the 5-part video series is free to you. Just let us know where to email the videos by filling in the box, which will be somewhere on this page, and let's get started. Hi there, I'm Doggy Dan. Welcome to part 1 of this 5-part series, where I'll be sharing with you how I work and giving you some training exercises that you can put into practice straight away with your dog. But first, a big thank you for giving me this opportunity. Okay, now in this first video, we're looking at the very common issue of dogs pulling on the leash. So let's get started by looking at some simple techniques and one of my favorite exercises that you can put into practice today. So here's a short clip from one of my consultations regarding a pulling dog. As you can see, she's a lovely little dog here, or medium-sized dog, and her owner is a guy called Zach, and he's a great guy. He's doing everything he can to stop this dog from pulling, but for those of you who have a pulley dog, you will know what it's like. It seems like nothing will stop them sometimes, and I wanted to show you this actually. This guy loves his dog. That is a real tattoo he's got on his leg of his dog here. That's true love. Now, first of all, I just wanted to point out that she's wearing a collar, and a collar is not a good device if you've got a dog who's pulling. They are very good when your dog is trained, but in the training stages, in the early stages, the learning stage, you don't want to be using a collar, because as you can see, as she pulls forward, Zach pulls backwards, and she just kind of leans into it. It almost encourages the pulling. If you think about it, it's how sort of a husky will pull a sled. You know, the sled is pulling back, and the huskies just keep driving forward. So it also causes, you know, stress to the dog's neck. She's pretty pully?
She's pretty pully, man. She's pretty.
Can you stop her pulling? Oh, she's pretty good there, but she just doesn't stop. Is that right?
Yeah. She just keeps on going.
So here's the main exercise I want you to practice. It's called the turn in front, with the emphasis being on the word in front. So keep a shorter lead, a bit of a shorter lead. Pull it in a bit. Now, what I want you to do, because that's good, turn in front of her and turn her around. Turn in front, that's it. Turn her around, that's good. And walk down the street this way a bit, sorry. Keep her on that side. And now turn in front of her again and turn her around again. That's it. Right, now that's good. Now walk a bit faster. So let me do a slow replay. First of all, I'm talking about the length of the leash. It's way too long. So shorten it up even more. So I'm saying to Zach, no, that's too long. He's just setting his dog up to fail with a leash that long. You want a very short leash, but you want the leash to be loose. And here's the turnaround. So his right thigh goes across the face of the dog. You actually want to turn your dog's head in that situation, get their head to turn, and then you keep your dog in the same hand, sort of keep them on your right in this situation, turn the dog's head again there, beautiful turn. And Zach's walking the dog on the right. That's fine. You can change it later on if you want to. So that simple but powerful exercise is called the turn in front. It's far more effective for stopping your dog from pulling than just yanking on the leash. So I just want you to practice that with your dog when you're out on the walk. How's she doing?
Yeah, nice. That's a different dog.
Feels better?
Yeah, definitely.
She's looking, no, keep her walking.
Yeah.
So what you can do now is you can even relax your arm a bit.
Yeah.
Just give it a little tug back a little bit, that's it.
Yeah.
And now wind it in a little bit more so it's not so loose. Yeah. That's good. And now turn in front of her again. That's cool. That's cool. Bring her around, That's good, right. So I'm just going to replay that here because there's a lot of little things going on here. First of all, Zach's dog starts to go off and sniff, and he starts to let her. And I have to correct him and say, no, don't let her sniff. You don't want to let your dog to sniff whenever they want to. You must be deciding that. It's something I'll go into more. I call it the structured and the social walk. The other thing, though, is how long the leash is. Look, he's wound it in there a bit, but it's still too long. You see how long that leash is? It's very hard for him to relax his arm. Look how high his arm is. And that's all because the leash is just way too long. So wind it right in there. She's happier on that shorter leash. So what I thought I'd do is I'd just demonstrate what I mean by a very short leash. You know, I'm not doing anything different. I'm just got a much shorter leash. And when she pulls, I lift it up a little bit. But I'm going to turn in front here. And the powerful thing about turning is it says I'm in charge and I make the decisions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn in front of her. And there you go. Leash is probably a little bit long even with me there, but what you'll find is if you just watch me for a few seconds here and get the leash under your dog's chin, it helps them relax. You don't want it on that side, you want it under there, make it all comfortable for your dog, and you want to see if you can have your hand almost on your pocket. So if you watch, you should have a relaxed shoulder, a relaxed elbow and a relaxed wrist. There, she's starting to walk nicely, and I'm speeding it up a bit. As soon as she's starting to pay attention though, I'm going to turn because I'm sort of saying, come on, I'm in charge, you follow me. I don't let her sort of lead me. And look, I've already almost moved from holding the leash to having it just balancing on my finger. And when you compare that to how she was just a couple of minutes ago, it's a huge change. And we've only been doing this for about 10 minutes or so. So some big changes there. And here we are a short while later. Her owners come out to see what we're doing, how it's all going. And it's brilliant because before, she was actually struggling to walk her on the leash. But as you can see now, no trouble at all. They're working really well together. So let me just summarize what we've gone through. First of all, that very, very powerful but simple exercise, the turn in front. You turn in front of your dog like this, and that says to them, I'm in charge. Get back. Now, if you want to carry on going in the same direction, you obviously have to do 2 of those. That's beautiful. Now the second thing is a short leash. You don't want a long leash, you want it nice and short but loose, just like we have here. That stops the dog from being able to change sides and wander off and do their own thing. The third thing is you want to be able to have a nice relaxed shoulder, elbow and wrist. So effectively, with that short leash, your hand should be able to relax nicely on your pocket. Even if you turn your dog around, you shouldn't have to be lifting your arm up high in the sky. It should be down by your side like it is here. So there you go, a couple of tips and a very powerful exercise. Now, when it comes to pulling on the leash, the stuff I've shown you here is great, but it's also crucial that you've convinced your dog inside the house that they should be listening to you and following you. Because dogs who think they're in charge will always lead, and they lead from the front, not the back. Put another way, if they aren't obedient inside the house, you'll probably struggle outside on the walk, so bear that in mind. Now, in tomorrow's video, we're going to be working with a very, very cute little puppy named Jock, who's a lot of fun to watch, so make sure you tune in. Until then, take care and love your dog. Welcome back. So in this video I've taken some clips from one of my puppy training consultations where I was working with a little fella named Jock. Now a lot of the time people think it's really hard to get dogs, and especially puppies, to learn a new behavior. So hopefully by the end of this you'll see that it's actually super easy when you know how. Enjoy the video. So this is little Jock. He's a tiny little 9-week-old puppy. He hasn't done any training on the leash or walking at all. And so this is his first attempt ever. And all I'm doing is using a tiny little piece of food and I'm sticking it on the end of his nose. And as you can see, I'm not using a leash at this stage. Stick it on his nose, pat up high, Jock, woof, good boy, 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 good boy. So what I'm really doing is I'm motivating him with food. I'm using a high-pitched voice so he associates it with my word and an action. So here's the hand action. Jock, walk, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good. Now you may be thinking, what's that funny clucking, squawking noise I'm making? But that high-pitched voice, fast, repetitious sort of noises, it really does encourage the dog and get them moving. It really does work. Good boy, Jock, 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 walk, 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 come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So you can see I'm almost starting to get bored, starting to get really excited and silly. So that's stage one, where we're using food but no leash, no lead. And this is where it gets amazing. We're moving to stage two now. I'm just creating a very simple loop, and I'm going to pop that over his head. And before he even realizes something's on him, we're going to do exactly the same thing, and he won't even notice. Walk, good boy, 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 good boy. Treat. Now notice how short a distance I'm actually making Jock walk. It's only about 2 yards. You've got to be very sensitive with your puppy at this stage. Give them a little bit of a breather. Really use the food to tempt them along. Good boy, Jock. Very good boy. So again, I'm using loads of energy there. I'm only asking him to do a couple of yards. The worst thing you can do is keep pushing him too far until he gets a bit bored. You can see here he's got a little bit of an itch. So you just let it, make it easy for you, make it easy for him. And keep putting that food back on his nose. It's the food which is motivating your dog at this stage. You're needing to make it a positive experience. So, you know, if he's got a little itch like he has here again, just let him itch it out, make it easy, and then always give him the rewards. Early on you want to be using rewards all the time, and then I'm taking the leash off because I want to quit whilst we're ahead. Now there's a bit of wind interference here, so I'll just voice over this bit. But all I'm saying is you want to take this off him before he gets stressed with the sort of leash around his neck, so that he then starts to associate with a positive look. I put it back on him and he thinks, oh, we're doing more of that great training where I get a little treat. Now this is what happens if you do too much. You see how he started to turn and bite it? That's him saying, I want to get this off me because I'm not happy. I think he's also a little bit frustrated with his itch, whatever's going on. But you could just see the start of him starting to say, I don't want to do this anymore, so let's quit whilst we're ahead. It's a really, really important point. Now, a common question I get asked regarding this sort of training is how much should we do? And a ballpark figure is lots of short little intervals. So, for example, you're much better off doing sort of 5 or 6 1-minute sort of training sessions rather than one big 10-minute session. 10 minutes is going to be way, way, way too much for a puppy of this age. And if we just run through what we did, we started off, remember, with Jock just being encouraged to follow us by patting our thigh and using food treats. So that was the first stage. Then we did the same with a leash on him. So we patted our thigh, put food right next to his nose, so the food is actually like a lure. And then the third stage was no leash, and we're just patting our thigh here. He's actually following us. The food's not right by his nose anymore. So he's really come on a long way, and they're the 3 sort of key stages really of developing a really good walk. So there you go. Hopefully that's helped you with training your puppy to walk by your side. Now here's some clips from a much larger video of Jock's training, which is inside my site. It's just some clips of him basically socializing with my dogs. This is Peanut here, and as you can see, having a little puppy learn to socialize with big dogs is not always a bad thing. In fact, it can be fantastic, especially if you've got a confident wee puppy like little Jock here. So he's going to get corrected a couple of times. He's going to be learning the rules. Basically, don't try and steal the ball from Inca. She's my 8-year-old little whippity dog. This is a Jack. He's a 1.5-year-old Catahoula cross. He's a very confident boy. And as you can see, Jock immediately knows how to play the submissive role. Absolutely fantastic. They actually get on really, really well. Jack is almost like the big brother to him, looking after him and showing him the ropes. Okay, so I want to show you one more thing before we finish. It's basically the 2 different ways my dogs tell Jock to leave the ball. First of all, Inca, very verbal, very loud, and sounds scary.
Look here.
Then,
Jack.
Nice. So let me slow this right down and zoom in. There's absolutely nothing to worry about with this dog Inca. She makes a lot of noise, but watch her teeth here. That's all she's done. She's just moved ahead towards little Jock and made that very guttural growl noise, which, yes, is scary, but it's nothing. Jock gets the message. He knows it just means stay away. Training. That's being told. When I'm playing with a ball, don't try and take it. You see how the big dog's a little bit more subtle, a little bit gentler. Compare that to Peanut's approach. If you watch her right paw here, it goes out into the nose of little Jock, something you wouldn't even notice unless it was pointed out. Very, very subtle. So there's just a few clips from Jock's puppy training. do get your puppy socialized as early as possible, and you can use larger, older dogs if they're well trained and well behaved. And as you can see from little Jock, he hasn't been bothered at all by the growling that he received. There was no intention to hurt him. So remember, if your puppy gets told to stay away in that sort of manner, don't worry, don't panic. Your puppy will understand it. The last thing you want to do is overreact. Just stay calm. And as you can see, Jack's training him up, and Jock's having a great little time with him. So there you go, some simple tips on getting your puppy to learn to walk next to your side. Basically start without a leash, just use food, develop your high-pitched little voice, and pat your thigh, give them that verbal cue. And of course, always remember, keep it simple and quick whilst you're ahead. Basically do lots of little sessions rather than one big long training session. So how cute was that? Now, if you've got a new puppy, or if you enjoyed that short clip, then you'll be very pleased to know that I've actually captured on video the raising of one of my puppies called Moses from 8 weeks of age right through to 8 months old. And I've created a complete step-by-step puppy training program called Project Moses. If you're interested, then I'll let you know where you can find out more about it at the end of this series. Tomorrow, we're looking at something completely different, dog aggression. So make a mental note of that. Have a great day, and let's catch up then. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're taking a look at dog aggression. Now, of course, dog aggression is a huge topic, and there's a whole range of things that can cause them to overreact. So what I've done today is I've put together some simple techniques and exercises that you'll find useful regardless of whether your dog is aggressive to bikes, cats, cars, or other dogs. But the main thing that I really want to portray in this video is a concept, and it can be summed up in this famous saying: it's not what you do, but it's the way that you do it. So see if you can get what I mean and enjoy the video. So in this consultation I'm working with Tane. He's an 18-month-old Staffy Cross Mastiff, and his owner has asked me to come and assess him around other dogs because when he was about 8 months old, something like that, he started becoming a little bit dominant and aggressive. His owner kept him away from other dogs because he didn't want any trouble, and it's just sort of that period of time that he's been away from other dogs has got bigger and bigger, and now he really hasn't been around dogs for a long time. So I'm not taking any chances with him. We've got a muzzle on him, we've got him on a harness there, and I'm going to ask his owner to walk out onto the grass, and then I'll bring one or more of my dogs over, and I want to show you how I work this sort of situation. So the first thing we need to do is really keep control of the situation. So you can see I've got two of my dogs there on leashes. That's the two boys. They're very good, but the last thing I want is them jogging over to say hello, so I'll keep control of them with a short leash. You could use a long line. Inca there in the foreground, she's not going anywhere, so she's free to wander around. And of course Tane's on a lead. So you need that control to start with. The next thing to look at is the energy of the dog. So clearly my dogs are very calm and relaxed, which is brilliant. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably put him down at a 2 or a 3. But Tane here, you can see his energy level is much more what I'd say is a 7 or almost an 8. 8 out of 10. His tail is upright. He's stiff and strong, and he's pulling towards my dogs. Not really what you're looking for. So when a dog's feeling like this, confident, strong, and almost looking for a bit of trouble and sort of wanting to man up, the best thing to do is give them some time. Just move them away. They're not ready yet. And time's on your side. As you'll see, Tane will calm down, but you don't want to bring him over to meet the dogs in question when he's in that sort of state. Now what I'm going to do here is a very simple technique, but it's very powerful. It's something I call stop, start, change direction. You basically put a lead on your dog, you walk them round and round, doing anything except for focusing on the other dog. In other words, I'm going to focus my dogs on the grass to the right and the grass to the left. Come on guys, let's go and smell the flowers. Tane's owner's doing the same, and you're going to see that just a few minutes of this is going to calm his dog right down. It's actually truly amazing. I'll show you a shot of before and after. But what he's doing now as well is he's going to get in front of his dog, and I'm saying do a calm freeze, something I use a lot. You crouch down, put your hand under his collar, and if we have a look at his dog now, you'll actually see, this is just a few minutes later, his dog's energy's gone right down. If you look at that tail, we'll zoom in and have a look, but the body language of this dog is so completely different to the body language and energy of the dog that we saw just before. Here he is just 10 minutes earlier, confident, dominant, tail erect, challenging. You know, he's not, in this state, you don't want to be taking him over and introducing him to other dogs. It's only going to go pear-shaped. So you want to do a little bit of work with him, and, you know, 10 minutes later, here he is. Tail's in completely the other opposite direction, hanging down. He's relaxed. He's very inquisitive. He's interested. He's calmed right down. Totally different dog. You'll have far more success with him in this sort of a state. So now that Tane is calmed down somewhat, I'm going to apply a technique that I call the parallel walk, and it's quite fascinating. I'll just let all of this roll and talk you through it. The parallel walk is exactly as it sounds. It's where you walk parallel to the other dogs, and as you can see, we've started off quite far apart from each other, walking parallel, but we're going to move closer and closer together. Now, the idea behind this is it's the exact opposite of a sort of a predatory attack from the front. If you think about it, all animals are used to the sort of predatory locking on and running straight at another animal to attack them. So if you're coming straight at an animal, dog, they can feel very threatened. It's why when you meet a dog on the pathway who's coming towards you, it can be quite threatening. However, dogs, when they walk parallel like this, it's far more like they're part of a pack. If you think of a pack of wolves, they all walk in the same direction. And here, we've moved much, much closer together. And Tane's, you know, he's throwing his head around. He's actually wanting to get towards my dog, Jack, so we just move away, apart a little bit there. But he's doing really well. And these techniques are really what Tane's owner and I put in place for maybe 10, 20 minutes until Tane calmed right down. And then we were able to put him on a line, and he was able to meet my dogs. Now, the purpose of this video is really just to give you a couple of ideas of how you can do that, how to calm a dog down. But I do want to show you a couple of clips of this video where Tane has a line on him. So here's just a couple of snippets of that stage, and you can see him actually playing with my dogs. So the first stage really is putting a longer line on Tane so we can sort of let him go free, but we've still got that sort of control. This is actually a horse lunge line. He's such a big boy. And then the next stage is actually letting my dog go. So I've decided Jack is calm enough. He's just going to run off. I can just tell he's not going to go over to this dog. He's going to wander off and play, which is great. So here I use the long line to keep control of Tane and just gauge what he's like around all the dogs. And it just gives you the ability to keep control of the situation if it starts to go pear-shaped. And interestingly enough, it's little Inca, who's generally a very fearful little female dog, who goes over and says, I understand you. Look at those little tails waggling. So they're communicating really beautifully there. She runs off though. She's not too sure. And this is when I know we've done it, that Jack comes over. He's the dominant dog here. Tane's just letting him sniff first. So Jack's in charge. Look at Jack's tail's right up. Tane's just a little bit more submissive. And I'll let you hear the noise because Tane's going to check Jack out here. He's sort of gaining confidence, and it could go pear-shaped here, but I get the feeling it won't. I think he's sort of playing there. I think he's saying, do you want to play? A little bit. Now he's saying, do you want to play? And what you witnessed there was two confident male dogs deciding who's in charge, do you want to play? And so yeah, it's time to drop the long line on the floor and just let them have a good run. I'm very confident that they're going to get on really well. The next stage was to take the long line off him, and then when we were completely confident that he was going to be fine and he'd had a good play, we took the muzzle off and he just had a great old time. Here he is playing around with Inca, who's telling him to go away at this point. And he had a great fun play with Jack as well. You can see here they got on like a house on fire. So there you have it. In my opinion, Tane is a good dog. He's a lovely boy. He's sociable. But he has got the tendency to be a little bit dominant, so you do want to understand how to be the pack leader at home. That'll keep his dominance right down, and he'll be far more tolerant around other dogs. And some of the key stages in getting him off leash: first of all, we kept control of him at the very beginning using those leashes and the long line. Secondly, we were constantly reading the energy, the situation. Every situation was different, and if it wasn't right, then we just moved them away. So just walk away, focus on something else, and just remember, there's no rush. Take your time, because time is on your side. So there you go. As you can see, we turned a potentially volatile situation into a really successful day, and we gave Tane some much deserved freedom and socializing off leash, and we gave his owner some hope. Back at Tane's home, I also went through with his owner the importance of leadership, because this will actually be the foundation on which the relationship is built. Now, let me clarify the key concept I referred to at the start, that it's not what you do, but it's the way that you do it. A concept which flows through all of that training in the video and all that I do. Basically, you've got to keep control of the situation. You've got to stay calm and take your time. That's all for today. See you tomorrow, and until then, have an awesome day. Welcome back. Now in today's video we're going to be looking at ways I calm dogs down, and in this specific situation I've come to work with a couple whose powerful dog is fearful and aggressive towards people coming into the property, specifically when they come through the gate. The main problem is that he usually takes ages to calm down and he won't stop barking. Let's get into it. So as you can see, he's barking there mainly out of fear. He's not sure what he's meant to be doing, and partly because he's such a big, strong, powerful dog, you don't want to be taking any chances with him. You certainly don't want to be going up to him or letting him off the leash at this stage. But this is how I deal with this sort of situation. Come in front of me. Now that's it. Now turn your back on me. Turn your back, or pull him away, but that's it. Now crouch down. Hold him under his collar. Really calm and gentle. And I block between you and me. Get between him and me. That's the one. Don't look at him. No pats. That's it. Now, just hold him real calm like that. So what you've done is you've turned your back on me, which sort of gives him the message you're not worried about it. Yeah. That's good.
He's just stopped.
You just stopped. Yeah. Good. Not only that, you can feel his energy's actually dropped as well.
Yeah.
That's how body language is real important, you know. You know, even me turning my back a little bit is, at the end of the day, what's more confrontational? Yeah. That, when I turn my body, you know, that's me turning my body, but I'm not looking at him. The second I actually look him in the eyes, he's now clocked me.
Yeah.
Looking at me. But he's still calm enough with you holding him like that. You see how close I'm actually getting to him? It's good. So that's what I call the calm freeze. It's just a technique for calming dogs down, which you can use in all sorts of places.
Start with when people come through
And it's a, yeah, so it's probably the clearest way of saying, communicating to your dog, calm down. And what you do is you got to be calm.
And what's the key there is Scott getting his back to you.
Turning your back on the dog or the animal is absolutely crucial. And blocking the visual is also quite powerful. If you think about it, if you want to communicate that you're not scared, or if you're actually not scared of something, you'll be happy to turn your back.
Yeah.
If you're worried somebody's going to do something over there, you kind of...
Yeah, you're looking at them. So you're just...
So he reads that body language and says, well, Scott's clearly not scared of this guy. And so he's able to relax. The other thing you could then do, Scott, is just stand up and walk towards the bushes a little bit. So you just take control of him. And that's just showing him how you want him to actually behave. Now turn him around towards me a little bit, and I'll go and sit back down on the chair. That's good. Cool. So that technique which we were wanting to practice was actually me just coming in and out of this gate, which is obviously going to help him be less stressed. So we'll see how he goes. If he suddenly jumps up and starts barking, just do as much of that calm, hold him under the collar as you need to, get in front of him. But it's this, because what we're doing is desensitizing him to the gate, just so he understands. You don't always have to go nuts when somebody comes in and out the gate. So if he was barking, if you just watch what I'm doing here, if he was really barking at me doing that, like going in and out the gate, what I'd do is I'd make it even simpler, which is just I'd go. So you step in, and you just step in and do as little as necessary. Calm freeze like that, that's good. So we could even say, well, let's make it easier for him. So to make it even easier, all I'm going to do is that. You could use food as well, just to say when you hear that noise and you're not barking. But quite often there's no need to use food. You know, you can make it as easy or as difficult as you want. But what we were really trying to achieve originally was me actually being able to move around here and him not bark. And we're almost... He's done great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm even walking sort of more towards him. I'd have thought if I go near his kennel, he'll do a bit of a growl, but he's all good. Good.
Wow.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. So this is what we started with, and you can see how quickly we managed to calm him down. And 3 techniques I want you to just remember, maybe put them into practice. First of all, you turn your back on the danger. Don't stand there facing the danger. That gives your dog the wrong message. Turn your back on the danger. Secondly, the calm freeze. You take control under your dog's chin. You hold them very gently under the dog's chin rather than on the back of the neck or anything like that, which is very dominant. And then thirdly, you actually block the visual. So you get in front of your dog so that they actually kind of can't see the thing which is triggering them. And as you can see, that's calmed him down really quickly. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, even if your dog is reactive to something completely different, you can still use these techniques. Maybe that your dog is barking at children, other dogs, or people pushing prams. These same principles still apply and work. A couple of things to remember. Firstly, the calmer you can stay, the more effective the techniques will be. And secondly, the more your dog views you as the one in charge, the more notice they'll take of you, the more they'll listen and copy your behavior. So if you feel like your dog takes no notice of you at all, then it's very likely it's a leadership issue as much as a training issue. Okay, now do make sure you tune in tomorrow, as it's a very special video, because I'll be taking you on holiday with me and I'll be explaining where you can find out more about my training, including mastering leadership with your dog or puppy. Till then, have a great day. Thanks for being with me. Have fun with your dog. Take care. Bye. Hi there. They say that insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result. And dog training is very much like that. I've met people who've spent months and longer trying to stop unwanted behaviors, and they've made very little progress. People seem to think that just by doing more of the same thing with their dog will change their dog. And in some situations, repetition and classical training is all you need, as I'll show you in a second. However, very often it's simply not enough. And first you need to win your dog's mind before anything's really going to change. So in this video, I want to show you the true power of mastering leadership with your dogs, which in turn allows them to switch off and focus on you and makes them very easy to train. So this is the last video in the series, and I thought I'd do something completely different. I'd share a little bit about myself, about how I work. So these are some dog training clips and tips from when we stayed in this little place by the beach here in New Zealand. So this is the beautiful countryside, and this is the place we stayed. So 6 dogs. We had a friend's dog, we had Nana's dog with us, and 4 other dogs. And as you can see, beautiful property we just stayed in, a little batch as we call it here in New Zealand. And here's the 6 dogs we came away with. And as you can see, none of them are tied up here, none of them are running away. There's people walking down the beach with their dogs. This is Tamar, that's Nana's dog. And then we've got over here, we've got little Moses. He's a sort of 2.5-year-old male dog, and by his side is his younger, bigger, stronger brother, Jack. And then we've got the older matriarch, Peanut Butter, who is probably 10, 11 years old. Now, the first bit of training I thought I'd show you, there's our food set for our meal already. Well, there's the plates, and here comes the food, is basically me getting ready to feed our dogs. So I thought I'd show you this because it's a good example of what I'd call sort of being consistent, calm, and a good example of quote training, classic training. Now, this is where you just repetitiously go through reinforcing what it is you want. You'll see with my 4 dogs, when the bowls go down, they're pretty good at waiting for their food. But the 2 dogs that are not mine, both of them struggle, just that self-control is not there, so they both start eating. I think Jack starts to eat here, and I put my foot across and say, hey, Jack, move, don't eat, no. He knows the rule, but what often happens is in a different setting, you know, he tests the rules. So because we don't usually feed our dogs at this beach, they're normally on the decking at our home, Jack is just not sure whether it's the same rule, and I've told him, yes, it's the same rule. So Peanut's on the right there. She's drooling already. And it's these 2 dogs. It's my mother-in-law's dog, dear Tamar, and a dog named Polly. So Polly's already eating. So I move her off. And the key thing here is just this repetition. Stay calm, move her off again. So I'm kind of laughing because Tamar's wagging her tail saying, what we waiting for, what we waiting for? But I really want this dog to wait. So it's no, wait. And I won't show you the full video because it goes on for quite a bit. But Polly gets there in the end. So here we go. I think I've got my 4 dogs. We're almost ready. I move Jack forward. Peanut's drooling, and I just keep repeating this until they finally get it. You're not going to eat until you're calm and watching me. I hold them for a few seconds and then let them go. So sometimes with your training, you do just need to stay in the zone, stay calm, not get angry and start shouting, and just repeat, 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 and your dog will get it. Here we've got some very happy dogs eating their food. Now, Sometimes repetition is not enough and you need to follow through with a negative consequence. So I'm often talking to people about calm, consistent consequences, and that's what's happening here. Dear Jack is in timeout. He'll be there. He's in the back of the ute. He'll be there for 1, 2, 5 or 10 minutes, something like that, and he'll get it. He'll understand why he's there very quickly, and he'll stop doing what he did. Now, you do need to make sure your dog is comfortable, that they're not too hot, that they're not too cold, that they've got water and they're happy. But the point is, just using timeout is a far more effective way of getting your dog to stop than just by raising your voice, shouting and becoming angry. So just something for you to think about there. Now, these 3 dogs aren't in timeout, and this is another very good point. You can still use the back of the ute for them to sleep in at night. It could be their bed, or it could be like I'm doing here, just during the day. This is another very important point. During the day, I just put the dogs in there and say, hey, just take a break, have a chill, relax. They stay there for an hour and a half, and then I take them out, take them to the bathroom, toilet, give them a run, give them a cuddle, play with them. So whilst it's really good that we take our dogs out for walks and exercise them, and here's Jack just expressing his power in a way that only Jack can actually do. It's great that we drain them of some of their energy, but it's also very important that we understand how to switch our dogs off. The number of people who have dogs who are constantly following them, who are hyperactive, who are on guard 24/7, 365 all the time, every noise they're barking, and that's because these dogs don't know how to switch off. Whereas my dogs here, they're very good at doing what I say. When I say go, I switch them on and they're ready to go. When I say that's enough, calm down, switch off, just stay here. They're not tied up. They're free to roam, or most of the time they're free to roam, and they just chill and relax. You can see they're not on guard, they're not on duty, they don't have to do anything. They're having a holiday just like me and the family are. And it's this balance between dogs knowing when to go, have fun, and then the balance between that and them knowing when to switch off and just calm down, which makes for an amazing relationship. And this is not something you really train a dog to do through classical training. It's a way of being, it's a method, it's an approach, it's a way of interacting with your dog, which will say to your dog, hey, I'm in charge of the situation, I'm in control, you can switch off. And that's where it's all about mind control. It's about winning your dog's mind first of all, and then you can train the dog's body. It's super easy to train a dog once you've won their mind, and that's something I'm very passionate about. I'd love to share more about that with you. So if you're interested, then I'm sure you'll find ways of finding out more about what I do and how I work. Anyway, thanks for being part of this video series. It's been a lot of fun putting it together, and hope you've enjoyed it and got some good tips. Okay, so that's the end of the 5-part series. Now, earlier I promised you that I'd tell you where you can find out more. So if you've enjoyed those videos, and if you're interested in discovering how you can take this further, then you'll be pleased to hear that I've put together a very complete and comprehensive step-by-step dog and puppy video-based training program that will help you stop all those unwanted dog behaviors and help you raise an amazing puppy. I won't go into the details now, only I'll say that it really is the easiest way to an obedient and happy dog. So if you're struggling with dog problems, if you've maybe got a new puppy, or if you're just interested in finding out more, then click the link that's somewhere on this page and let's continue this journey that we've started together. But whatever you do, thank you for watching, love your dog, and take care.